Imagine sitting down for a card game that has been going on for centuries. The older players cheat the newcomers, the rules change based on who is winning, and eventually the frustration peaks until someone finally flips the table. This mirrors our modern social script. We've entered a cycle where both sexes are breaking the traditional rules of engagement, leading to a state of constant aggression and attrition. Game theory describes this deadlock as a Nash equilibrium. It's a moment where every individual makes a decision that is perfectly logical for their own safety, yet the collective result is a disaster. This matrix shows the trap. If both sides choose to stay guarded to avoid being exploited, they inevitably meet in this bottom right quadrant. It's a rational impasse where neither side can reach a better outcome without risking everything. Once the math locks in, progress stalls. Because it feels safer to remain defensive, the two sides stay isolated, causing the natural virtues of both men and women to devolve into impotence. When we treat romance as a series of defensive calculations, the inevitable result is mutual misery. For men, this retreat starts with an internal collapse. Medieval myth calls it the Fisher King's wound, a state of permanent agony and impotence that occurs when a man betrays his honor for the sake of lust or pride. Instead of mastering their drives, many men now outsource their imagination to a digital vortex. They trade the difficulty of real-world connection for the rejection-free convenience of virtual harems and goon caves. Women react to this withdrawal by hardening. They embrace a loathing of their own natural beauty and adopt defensive, thorny standards that ensure no real-world man can ever meet them. The philosopher Jean Baudrillard described this as the procession of simulacra. We are living in a hyper-reality where the fantasy map of how people should be has entirely supplanted the messy territory of who they actually are. This retreat into silicon and latex isn't just a trend, it's an evolutionary dead end. When the sexes can no longer find a way to reunite, the birth rate drops and the cultural lineage simply stops. You cannot solve a Nash equilibrium by playing better. You have to break the game entirely by making an absolute choice, an action that looks like unabashed stupidity to everyone else playing the game. The 13th century epic Parzival features a hero who does exactly this. He is the pure fool, a man who survives because he doesn't understand the cynical rules everyone else is following. Parzival operates with a rigid sense of fairness and a complete lack of social subtext, traits we would recognize today as neurodivergence. He doesn't see the social games, so he doesn't play them. Because he takes every word literally, he is immune to the irony and deception that define his peers. His inability to decode nonverbal cues acts as a shield. He interacts with reality as it is, not as society performs it. In a world built on performative layers and digital maps, this kind of sincerity is the only thing that can reach the underlying territory. We see the repeatable version of this in the Knight Gawain. He is socially gifted and knows the rules, yet he consciously chooses to adopt the fool's sincerity. He practices mentadivergence. He knows how to read the room, but he chooses to step outside his own frame to understand the perspective of the other. This is tested by Orgelus, a woman who has been so deeply wounded by barbarian men that she uses her beauty as a weapon of scorn. She insults Gawain and mocks him, trying to force him into the same cynical game she's used to. Gawain doesn't manipulate her. He stays vulnerable, enduring her barks or the patience that has no logical benefit for his ego. He demonstrates that true strength isn't found in dominating a passive partner, but in the endurance required to help a damaged soul heal its thorns. Breaking our current impasse requires a shift in how we view relationships. We have to move toward a practice called kenotic husbandry. Kenosis is a self-emptying love. It's the decision to relinquish your own status and ego to build up the potential of the other person. Husbandry is the art of cultivation. It's the long-term, daily commitment to provide the stability and protection a partner needs to flourish. This is a call for men to leave the Eden of apathy. We have to stop retreating into the frictionless safety of screens and start engaging with the friction of real, wounded human beings. This starts with men rebuilding the structures of brotherhood. We need fraternities where men support one another's growth instead of competing for scraps in a broken game. By setting aside the cynical armor of the rational male, we can finally stop playing the game and start building a world worth living in.